Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Syndicate Collectibles Double Dragon figures. We have Jimmy, Billy, and Willy. I pre-ordered these from Big Bad Toy Store. I thought they looked pretty cool, so I wanted to add to my collection. Let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, they've got the sort of dragon wrapped across the border. Double Dragon. This is Jimmy, 7-inch action figure. Comes with a ton of accessories. We have weapons, a barrel, and a bunch of hands. On the back, a little description for Jimmy. Also available, Billy and Willy. And at the bottom, there's his barcode. Next, we have Billy. He also has a barrel, a bunch of hands, similar weapons. Double Dragon, Billy. On the back, a little description for Billy and his barcode. And then finally, we have Willy. Looks like he has extra hands and a large machine gun. Double Dragon Willy. On the back, a little description for him and his barcode. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that these figures out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. They come with quite a bit of cool stuff. We have Jimmy, Billy, and Willy. Jimmy and Billy both come with a total of 8 interchangeable hands, a baseball bat, a stick of dynamite, 2 switchblades, and a barrel. And then Willy comes with 6 interchangeable hands and a large gun. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the figures individually. We'll check out their accessories, height, and articulation. Let's go ahead and start off with Jimmy here. But first, I want to talk about the franchise for just a second. So Double Dragon started off as an arcade game in 1987, and they're still making video games as recently as 2023. In the original arcade game, you'd play as Jimmy and Billy Lee. They were both martial artists. You'd take the two of them and fight your way through different villains and adversaries, gangs, etc. And then Willy here was a leader of one of those gangs. So this is James Lee, aka Jimmy, one of the two main characters. His accessories, a couple weapons, a little background barrel to throw, and then a bunch of hands. And I've never gotten a figure from Syndicate Collectibles before, so I was definitely curious what to think. I thought these guys would be cool, because Double Dragon is an old school video game, and I have some fond memories of it. And they also look like they could be some good sort of street thugs or punks. The funny thing is, they're actually the heroes in this game. These are 7-inch scale figures, so let's take a closer look. So, starting with his face here, has kind of an Asian look to him, and I believe these characters were supposed to be inspired by like Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee. So this is the Asian one, the other guy, I guess, sort of the white guy. Now the articulation, he's got double jointed elbows, a little bit of wrap around the forearms. He's got sort of a sleeveless jacket type thing. Inside, you can see he's got an ab crunch here. Double jointed knees as well. Pretty good size figure, 7-inch scale. I notice the skin tone is a little bit off between the neck and the chest area. Not a big deal, but noticeable to say the least. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Looks good. It's sort of a cross between realistic and sort of video game animated. And then here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. And let's start off with his hands. He has a total of 8 hands, 4 left hands, and 4 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And then his second pair of hands. These are his gripping hands. And here's a third pair of hands. These look like some grabbing, choking, or throwing hands. And his last pair of hands. These are some flat, outstretched hands. And his right hand has a very large peg in the middle, and that'll help him hold the barrel and throw it, just like in the game. Now let's look at his weapons. A baseball bat, a stick of dynamite, and 2 switchblades. Baseball bat looks good. Made of wood. It's got some wrap around the handle. Then we have the stick of dynamite. It's got the little sort of fire at the top, working its way down. And with these switchblades, which are exactly the same. Blade looks good. and it looks pretty good. Promoting a lot of sort of street type fighting. Here's Jimmy holding that baseball bat. Here's Jimmy holding that stick of dynamite. He's going to throw it at the last second. And here, holding those two switchblades, which are a little bit too small for his hands, but it works. And then we have this barrel, a nice little accessory or diorama piece that'll be a great background for your action figure world. It's an orange barrel. It's got nice little sort of darker spots, nice paint wash, a couple little sort of risen pieces at the top, and it's got the hole for his hand. Here's Jimmy holding and getting ready to throw that barrel. I will say that Jimmy and Billy here are 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation, different paint job, different head. Like I said, heads are different. This is kind of the white boy. I think this guy's supposed to be an Asian guy. The same sort of sleeveless jacket, wife beater, exact same arms, legs, pants, everything. But I do think they both look pretty cool. And a closer look at Billy's face and head sculpt, which I think maybe is a little bit superior to Jimmy's. And he comes with the exact same accessories as Jimmy, so I don't think I need to demonstrate all of them. Here's a look at Billy holding that bat, and here, holding that dynamite, and here, holding that switchblade, and then here's Billy getting ready to throw that barrel. And both these figures can take off their sleeveless jackets, and they both look pretty good without. We have two completely different looks. The wife beater looks pretty good as is, and they look cool with the jackets as well. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figures and their accessories, let's check out their height. From bottom to the top of their heads, standing about 6.9 or 7 inches tall, which can translate to around 17.5 centimeters. And for their articulation, which is going to be exactly the same. So, starting with the head here, he does have articulation both at the top of the neck and the bottom of the neck. He can rotate side to side. He can look up about that far, down that much, very good range of motion. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders, a ball joint, they only go out about this far. Up, down, around. He does have sort of a butterfly joint, allowing the shoulders to go forward and back. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it's hinged as well. And if you want to change the way the hinge is, you can rotate it around. Ab crunch in the torso. Forward and back. Pretty nice. Waist swivel. Hips are ball joints. They go out almost complete of splits. There's a tiny bit of rotation here. They go forward almost all the way. Back not much. Double jointed knees. And the ankle. Forward and back. Tilt rock. There's no rotation, and you don't have a boot cut, so it's one thing they could have added with some kind of rotation there. Now let's check out Willy. He's got 6 hands and a large gun, and he's considerably bigger than Billy and Jimmy. So, big, strong, tough looking guy, gray hair, goatee, looks mean as a motherfucker. He's got this spiked armor on one of his shoulders, some forearm armor, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, armored shins and knees. Looks good, and at least we have an enemy for them to fight. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. And then here's Willy, broken down as far as he can go, all of the accessories laid out. Now for his accessories. Let's start off with his hands. He has 6 of them, 3 left hands, and 3 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. Then, with the second pair of hands, this is a pair of gripping hands with trigger fingers for his gun, and his third pair of hands, which looks like some grabbing, choking, or throwing hands. And now for his gun, which is a heavy-duty machine gun. It looks pretty good. Mostly done sort of military green, some gray and black at the front, a little bit of silver at the back. It has belt-fed ammunition and a bipod stand at the front. Pretty cool gun. And then here's Willy holding that gun. And now for his height. He's a big boy. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 7.8 inches tall, which can translate to just under 20 centimeters. Here's Willy next to Billy and Jimmy. Like I said, he's a pretty big dude. And for his articulation. Starting with his head, he can rotate side to side. He can look up, not too much because the hair, up and down like that. Tilt his head just the littlest bit. Shoulders on a ball joint goes about 90 degrees, more than the other guys. Both of them are like that. Up, down, around. He has that butterfly joint, forward and back motion. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it is hinged as well. He's got that same kind of ab crunch, forward and back, although it seems like a little bit less than theirs. Waist swivel. Legs complete as splits, ball joints again. A little bit of rotation there, not a lot. They go forward, about that far, a little bit less on him. Back not at all. Double jointed knees. Then his ankles. Forward and back the tiniest bit. Tilt, rock, and no real rotation. Here's a look at these three figures of Jimmy, Billy, and Willy in the streets. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how they fit in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix them with. Since they're Syndicate Collectible Double Dragon figures, they're 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. Here they are with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys. And now, with some McFarlane and DC Direct figures. Here are these figures, next to a couple of cans of green beans. And here they are, with some NECA and Mezco DC figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. Next, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Mafex figures. And finally, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends and SH Figure Arts action figures. So overall, these are some pretty cool Double Dragon figures. This is my first experience with anything from Syndicate Collectibles, and I like it. I like the scale, I like the articulation, and they come with a ton of accessories. I would say Billy is my favorite, followed by Jimmy, and then Willy, definitely a little bit less. If I were to rate these figures, they have pretty good articulation. They could definitely use some rotation in their feet, ankles, boots, knees, somewhere. Their accessories are plentiful, and the sculpt and paint job are pretty good. They have sort of a mixture of realism and animation going on. Works good for this type of figure. I would give Billy a 7. Jimmy, probably a 6.5, maybe a 7 as well. You know what, I'm going to up that a little bit. Now we'll keep it at 7 for Billy, 6.5, but teetering on the edge of a 7 for Jimmy, and probably a 6 for Willy. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say to the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.